Spooky, scary skeletons. No, what did I do? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. Yay! Somewhat on time today, somewhat speaking. I'm gonna see what the delay is real quick. Everything was messed up from last week, or not last week because I got in an accident last week. The week before when I did my stream on the computer, my SketchUp stream. So nothing worked, nothing worked. I don't actually know how to save a separate profile in OBS, but I do have at least the camera and light set up this time. Now I don't know if you can hear me over the 3D printer, but I have a job I need to run. I do have something I wanted to do today. So I have this extra power supply. It's just a Meanwell power supply. It's a 200 watt output if it has active cooling. It is the RPS 200-12-C. I didn't purchase this. A customer purchased this because he wanted me to do a build to his specifications. This was not the right power supply for the job, so I bought it from him. Now, like you guys, I am waiting on my HDplex 400 AC/DC. I've been waiting now for like 5 months because I was supposed to have a prototype of it so I could plan better. I had the 3D that Larry gave me a long time ago, but I don't have a test unit yet. So I have a lot of projects stacking up, and now I'm exploring other options. And this is not an option by itself, but I did notice that if I were to take it out of its little metal case, it might actually fit inside the Mini, and it's compact enough to where I could put a couple in there. So what I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to wire it up to power a 2080 Ti, or attempt to power a 2080 Ti. I wish I had like a 1080, that'd be more realistic, but I can probably do some tuning. And I'm going to run the normal system off another 12 volt power supply, Gary's power supply. Now, when you are running two power supplies, as has been pointed out in the forum, small form factor forum several times, you do not want to have the power supplies connect to each other without some kind of regulator, because even if the voltage is off by a teeny tiny little amount, it can cause some issues. However, I think that if I keep these separate enough for this test, I don't have to worry about that. Now, using two power supplies and a dual rail system is not really as nice as a single rail system because you don't have extra power that you could allocate to the GPU. In a perfect world, I'd be looking at combining these with some kind of merger unit, like maybe Compact's Dynamo 360. But since that is a power supply that's a wide range power supply, I could lose some efficiency, and this is already kind of a little bit not enough for what I'm trying to attempt to do with it. But there are 12 volt merger units coming out from different people on the forum, so hopefully it won't be an issue so soon. So how are you guys doing today? Creeper Shade says, do I smell magic blue smoke? Not yet. You will probably smell magic blue smoke in this episode of Frakenmodding with Josh. Good to see you guys. I hope that the lighting and audio is okay. Please let me know if it's not, if I need to make an adjustment. I also don't know what res I'm streaming at. It looks really low, but I have to figure that out a different time. I figured a stream now is better than a stream 30 minutes from now, a little bit higher res. All right, so first things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of its shell and measure it. Put a hole in my ceiling. And I actually like this lighting setup because I can see you guys. Normally I have the lights blaring in my eyes. So last week, 8 days ago, I got into a slight motorcycle accident. My throttle cable broke, or something broke in the assembly. I haven't looked at it yet. And I was thrown off the back like a catapult. I landed on my hard head, that's why I'm mostly uninjured, but I did get a concussion and I had to basically take the week off. The major side effects is that I can't think very well without my head hurting. I can't spell right now. Like, I can spell if I'm just typing on the keyboard, but if you like start like spelling out words, I'm not gonna be able to follow it, which is odd for me because I'm quite a good speller. And the last thing is my vision is messed up. I've had a couple concussions before, I've been electrocuted before, and ever since then my vision is not super great. My eyeballs are fine, but it's hard for me to focus on things, and that's kind of a little bit exacerbated. So that was what happened last week. That's my story anyway, I'm sticking to it. We do have some pieces, some MOSFETs, I suppose, some power regulators, some doodads. I don't know, I need to scrape the goop off of them that are being cooled by the mounting plate, but that's actually pretty simple to fix in the Mini. I can put some thermal pad and put it right to the front of the Mini and it won't be an issue. So that's kind of good to see. I don't need a big giant heatsink, and the Mini is actually going to be way better than this thin piece of steel. I'm going to pull this. Meanwhile makes really good stuff. I mean, the care they put into it, they laser cut out the notch so the thermal paste would actually go touch the back of the bracket. Gonna set that aside. Gonna set this aside. Now we're gonna see if this is going to work. I did go to the doctor. Yes, you always go to the doctor when you get a head injury. We got a CAT scan, all that. There's no brain bleeding. It just I've been hit in the head a few times. And wow, these are terrible. I bought an extra pair of cheap calipers to have around, but my cheaper ones are better. Plastic. Thank you, Scooty McRudy and McRavage, for the well wishes. I hope to get better. My guardian angel was on full tour duty. In fact, when I was knocked off the bike, it was early in the morning on Sunday. There was really no traffic. I was wearing all my gear because it was a cold day, which is good because I would have been messed up. And the owner of the store that sold me my motorcycle 7 years ago actually was at the light. He's the only person there, so he got out. He helped me get the bike to the side and get it so I could ride it home, which was stupid. I shouldn't have ridden it home, but I wasn't really thinking clearly. So the width of this board is 50.9 millimeters. And of course the width of the Mini, I'm doing this only really for the sake of doing it on camera, don't really need to very much, is 60 millimeters. Now that doesn't really necessarily mean it's going to fit with inside the railings, but I wanted to see it does, and it fits perfectly. It fits flawlessly in between the frame rails of the Mini. So to show you guys this is probably going to work really well. If we were to relocate the front power button and use a different bezel, we could easily get two in here and have room for even a, before I open my mouth, and I don't think we'd be able to have a Zotac 1080 Ti, but, well, it wouldn't power it anyways, but we would be able to put a Gigabyte 1080 Mini. Theoretically speaking, we're just talking about fitment. We're taking it out one step at a time. My riding buddy was also with me, but I didn't want to incriminate him. But he was a big help, and he eventually convinced me to go to the doctors. All right, so we have this little power supply here. It fits in the Mini. Two of them would work together, which would give us 400 watts. Of course, if we don't have a merger unit, that's just 200 for the graphics card and 200 for the motherboard and CPU. So this is looking very doable. The important thing is that we have enough room to put a little fan in there, but I think we do. Oh, it's such a mess. Let's double check this real quick. Oh, man. That's really cool. So we will be able to stick a 50mm or so fan over this and clear the motherboard, no problem whatsoever, and still use like a Pico power supply. No, we can't do a RTX 2080 Ti in my case, but I'm at that kind of awkward situation where the only graphics cards I have are a 2080 Ti, a Vega 56 Nano, and some older legacy cards. I don't actually have any 1070s or 1080s. So it's just kind of what I got to work with today until I get more stuff in. So that's just what ended up being on the stream. Doesn't really make sense to do this, but that's what I got. All right, so what's my plan? I've already forgotten. Yes. I'm going to take this little guy. I might actually have to use this now that I think about it, because Gary's power supply is custom set up for my X299E. No matter, that will work fine. I'm going to use the compact Dynamo Mini. I have to find the power cable, the CPU cable for it, and I do think I just managed to lose that. Sorry, I thought I prepared everything, but then I forgot something important, as usual. That's kind of annoying. I'm going to have to use the HDPlex 400 for this. So what I'm doing now is I am just powering my CPU, my motherboard, with a separate power system. Because what I really care about is seeing if this little guy is enough juice to get within 1080 striking distance. That's what I care about. So this is just a test setup. I don't care how big this ends up looking or being. So I'm gonna mod that, put this away, put this away. Use this connector. I'm gonna get myself a power supply. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's unbox that RTX. I didn't actually watch any of NVIDIA's marketing mumbo jumbo. Is it RTX because of ray tracing? Or does this rebrand actually mean something? Because, you know, GTX is a big deal. They've had that for a while. I think that they're just really desperate to rebrand this junk for us, so they don't have to put out a new graphics card since they're doing so well right now. Oh man, okay. You guys know I love my new hardware smell. This is fantastic. This might be the best smelling piece of hardware I've ever smelled. So, smells like a Nike store when you're taking out your brand new shoes out of your shoe box. That's what that smells like. That is so... Oh, that is some good stuff. That is some good stuff. I can't afford this video card, so I am going to attach my grounding belt to me. This is the best part. You still get that shoe store smell with a little bit of metallic. This is definitely the best smelling video card I have ever smelled. Or computer part for that matter. So, good job, NVIDIA. Card is actually extremely hefty. This is incredibly heavy for its size. And I really do like the design cues. So, they did a great job. They did a great job. It looks absolutely fantastic. And that's good, because you need to make a good impression with me, because I'm already annoyed at this whole graphics card debacle. So, that's kind of odd. It doesn't go in with a chunky chunk. That's annoying. I'm making contact. I don't know if it's the PCB that they've used. Not to get sidetracked here, but I guess this is the card. It is pretty warped, actually. Yeah, it's super warped. I'm sure it still works. Silicone is tough stuff, this breadboard, but it's not going in there nicely for me. Okay. Give it some support. All right. I think I'm gonna put this over here. So we're gonna move everything around. What else does this come with? It's still pretty heavy. Well, I guess if you spend $1,300 on a graphics card, you should at least get some nice presentation. And this is one of the best. Aside from like the specialty graphics cards out there that you come in hard cases and crates and stuff like that, this is definitely nice. Again, they're gonna have to do a good job to forgive their many sins. I've checked the comments because I haven't been paying attention. I'm gonna have to use some glasses for that. 1 second. Moving all this over. That's much better. I cannot see the computer screen. It is just dancing. 1 second, guys. Okie dokie. Satisfying click. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Nothing that I have to get too worried about missing. 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab my glasses. And probably move the monitor closer if I can. I don't know if I can or not. I can. Just a little bit. Let's see if. Okay, down to the modding segment of this. So I think that what I will do, I'm assuming this is the AC in on this side. We do not have a ground, which I would really like working with an open piece of electronics here on my desk, doing other crazy things, but, or I should say one I don't have easy access to. On this side, we do have voltage minus. Is voltage plus on this side? I can't tell. I'll get my multimeter out and check. I need some kind of work. There we go. Surface. I'd actually rather work here, but nice and clean. It's gonna stay more stable. We'll just hope I don't kill myself. I think my goal is going to be de-pinning this, sticking this end. Let's see, how do I want to go about this? I'm going to plug this into here. Use some MiniFit Junior plugs from here to here, which is going to create a lot of resistance, but we're just testing things out. We won't get that hot in the real life world because we'd be actually soldering it. And on this end, yeah, okay, I'm going to de-pin this, put them on here, plug that into the RTX. So I'm going to flip it around this way. This is voltage minus down there. So what do we got? We have 3. This is black, voltage minus. Voltage minus on the bottom here. So I'm gonna have to merge these two. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. All right, let's look at the questions. Did I miss anything good? I think that too, the screw holes are for grounding for the case. That's definitely for sure. But what about to the wall? My earth to the wall. That's more or less what I was talking about. It doesn't need it. It's a 200 watt power supply, so by code, I don't think it needs it. It just would be nice. I am really slow today, guys, so I apologize for that, but it is what it is. All right, get my silver pen. My only concern is that I'm too loopy to identify that this is the voltage plus and the bottom's the voltage minus. I'm 90% sure, but if I'm wrong, now's your chance to be the hero. Because the voltage minus is the one that goes with the extra 2 pin, right? This is black, this is not yellow. So if that's the case, I got this correct. Victor says, I was wondering if I had a list of APU cases that don't have space for a GPU, trying to find one for a dedicated CPU box only. There's a bunch out there, but I don't like any of them except for the Thin Mini cases, and Thin Mini is discontinued, pretty much. It's not technically discontinued, but no manufacturer's pursuing it for enthusiasts like us. However, Custom Mod, which is... it's a company that actually makes rip-off minis and rips off my Sky Slots as well, but the guy doesn't speak English, and he's really nice, and I don't think he understands, so I'm not too worried about it. So, you know, that would be a guy I would look for an APU case. He makes some inexpensive APU cases with the Sky Slots, which work great. I'm also thinking about making an APU case, because the 2400G really impressed me, and it's only going to go up from there. So I'm considering it. I'm also considering not renewing the S4 Mini, which is heartbreaking because I love it very, very much, but people aren't really appreciative of the quality and the cost it costs me to make them. And people are buying clones for slightly less money than the Mini. But the thing that makes me really upset is not that they're buying something for less money or they're buying another product. What really bums me out is they're getting a really cheaply made product that doesn't cost anywhere near what it costs for me to make my Mini. And it's like, I don't really know what to do. Like, I can't keep investing in putting all the money back into the Mini if people are going to be happy with something that's really cheap and easy to make. So I'm looking at doing something else right now. Carson's vid says, did you just plug a guy who's infringing on my patent? That is precisely what I just did. But again, he's a cool guy. He's not a jerk. He's accidentally infringing. There are people who are on purpose infringing that I've talked to and tried to work with and tried to compromise with, that just basically gave me the finger. But this is not one of them. He's a cool guy. So I'm just letting that go. Plus, he did decide to credit me in some of the pictures of the Sky Slots and says, Sky Slots by MC Systems, which I'm happy with. So if he's doing that for now, it's good. The only problem is if I do ever have to get into a lawsuit with Silverstone or somebody, not that Silverstone's doing anything. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that at all. Silverstone's completely innocent. Don't sue me. But if a big company were to take my patent, then I would have to look at aggressively licensing even to the little guys too. So anyway, what was I doing? I was taking this apart. So I'm a cold guy. Well, usually I'm pretty cold, but it's pretty warm in the office right now. So I'm fixing to be a hot guy. No comment, Embellis. No comment whatsoever. And again, poor Silverstone did not mean to even associate them with IP infringement. It was a total accident. In fact, Silverstone has really only been good with me and working with me for some of my computer cases. I've had some discussions with them in the past, but Windfall asks, is that a Meanwell power supply? Yes, it's a Meanwell power supply. 200 watt power supply that was in my throwaway bin that I think I can make actually useful. And the printer is printing top secret stuff for a client, so I cannot talk about that. Not even like computer top secret stuff. Because, Scooty McRudy, that's what allows us to compete. Don't give them any ideas. Oh, and somebody gave me $2, I think, in Super Chat, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna call you out. I'm sorry for getting distracted. I am definitely slow today. Ryan Pruski. Thank you, Ryan. I really do appreciate that gesture. It does truly mean a lot to me. That's what keeps me going, is to know that people do appreciate this. So, okay, so I've gotten this depinned. I've already forgotten entirely what I'm doing. Okay, I'm taking these, voltage plus, voltage plus, voltage plus. I really hope this RTX has circuit protection in case I mess up. Oh, I cannot afford that graphics card if I blow it up. And then I have to take any one of these and merge it. So that's what I'm going to do. Ah! Here are my Irwin automatic wire strippers. I'll put a link in the description. Completely and totally unnecessary for this job, but I messed that one up. Too long. Oh yeah, you need one longer. I forgot I'm doubling up. I'm just gonna have to trust my muscle memory. Don't worry, James. I think that I might survive if I accidentally end up shorting myself. Thank you, Ty. You are a great guy. Thank you for always donating every time that you watch the show. I really do appreciate it. You are a key supporter. All right. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. So, let's test this out. We're hot. So what I'm doing for Samurai, and anyone who else is wondering, this power supply is just for the GPU. So I have right now an HD Plex powering the motherboard and the CPU. This is only for a test. It's a test to see if I can get a power supply like this to power this GPU at 1080 power draw levels. I'm gonna have to do some power tuning because, as we all know from the benchmarks and the other tests people have done, this sucks a lot of juice from the wall. I don't have another graphics card right now that's actually less TDP, so I'm just testing this concept out. If it does work, this little guy actually does fit in the Mini. I'd ideally want to use a merger so I could use a single rail system, but I'll use a double rail system if I have to for right now, for some of my projects that I'm doing. Hi, Tom, and hello to other people in the chat that I have not said hi to yet. Okay, so I'm gonna concentrate. Okay, I have to make a, that's what I got these out for. Cool, cool. Hey, Jim Bond, I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much for that donation. Bond, Jim Bond. Tom wants to know if I have cases around Christmas time, and I don't know the answer to that. And as I was explaining before, I don't know if I'll have cases for a very long time after that, if I run out. I definitely won't. Even if I decide that I want to make more cases tomorrow, I won't have more for a while. So, I'm sorry, I can't make a guarantee. My computer cases are not just folded over sheet metal, they're all stamped, use glorious, glorious, beautiful stamping, wrap over covers, very complex parts, so I need to order a lot at a time from a quality manufacturer that's ISO 9000 certified, so I can't make them very quickly. I have to queue them up. And there's been some complexities at the factory lately, some politics and shifts and stuff like that, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. I do have cases right now. You can buy them at sfflab.com. I also have two S4 Mini Classics with the Platinum Ore powder coat. Platinum Ore looks like this, that you can purchase on my website at nfc-systems.com. Those are available, but those are very expensive. How many cases do I think are still in stock? I don't know the answer to that. I would have to ask SFF Lab. I'm not even going to guess. And if I did know, I probably would tell you guys, but I don't really would want to ideally share that information, at least publicly. Especially because I have so many clones in competition right now. Then they just use me to build their business around. And I don't mind helping people build a new business. I think that's fantastic. I mean, I would love, 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 love to help out and even partner up with people that want to use my layout, but they don't even want to credit me. They don't want to credit me. They don't want to do things the proper way. It's the responses I've gotten have been so rude. It's hurt my feelings quite a bit. Mason Kane, thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a super chat guy. Tom Brown asked what the 2080 Ti's max power draw is. That's a good question. I don't know until I actually get it on here and play with it. I've seen other people's numbers, but I want to see for myself. Samurai says, are there any clones out there that I respect? Now, you might think that I can't be objective, but I promise you I can. Because if somebody's out there doing what I'm doing and they do it the right way, I don't need to do what I'm doing anymore. You know, I can do something else. Unfortunately, there isn't anybody that's doing a good job with the clones. That's kind of my whole problem, is that if I stop making it, no one's going to be making a quality luxury computer chassis, or at least a mini-like one. It's a bummer. I don't like that idea, but nobody wants to make a computer case and make a couple bucks off of it, you know? They want to make enough to pay for their rent. Thank you, Marek. I really appreciate that for being a super chat guy. Okay, I got this one down and then I dropped my black cable. Did you see if it fell forward or backward? Did anyone see what happened to it? Oh, here it is. It just got mixed in a pile. JP asks, why would I get an S4 Classic over the newer one? I don't know much about them. You probably want the newer one. It has a lot of features in it. It's a great, great computer case. I mean, I made it, so I'm biased, but there's so much easier to build in, so much greater compatibility. So you probably want the new one if you don't know. The old one is desirable if you can make further compromise, like you know exactly what you want to do with your build, because it's a little it's about the same size actually, but it has that wraparound bezel, has the asymmetrical looks, it's very high quality, it's very, very limited, so it's a kind of a piece of small form factor history. I don't like to say that because it makes me sound big-headed, but it's a limited run luxury type of thing. Windfall wants me to enforce my patents and protect my IP. The problem is, Windfall, I'll have to spend even more money. I haven't paid off the patents. Like, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do everything that I've done. It took me 10 years to get where I'm at. I didn't do crowdfunding. I didn't take people's money until I could prove it could be done. You know, I was betting on the future. And to enforce the patents, it would cost so much money. And then these guys are only making like, 100. So it's not like I'd make any money off of pursuing against them. And there's so many of them. That's kind of why I was hoping that smallformfactor.net would be kind of like a guild and not run people off the forum or anything like that, but just be like, hey, this is some guy's work. This is how he builds his business off of. He's done the investing and all that. So why don't you work with him in order to make a new computer case and add your contribution to it? Or why don't you do a new layout or design? Because I'm always happy to help people. I'm always happy to help people come up with new stuff. It just, when you take the stuff... Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Samurai asks, am I still or was I ever at the point where demand is greater than supply? I've been really lucky. I don't want to sound like I haven't had a great time with the Mini. I have. It's always been in demand since day one. Well, it took a long time for people to start noticing it and buying it, but I don't ever think I've had a supply problem. I do not want to bet my house, though, on another run. It's dangerous to do that. I have to take the money out to buy more chassis, more inventory, and they might not sell because there's a lot of people doing this now. So I don't know. So I'm not in any financial problem right now. It's just about going forward. What's the smartest thing to do? And I also don't want to cause a big problem because, again, I don't want to be the negative Nancy that doesn't encourage people experimenting and even making some dollars. But the problem I see with it is, like, if you don't think my layout and my patents are valuable, then don't use them. If you do think they're valuable, well, I'm totally willing to work with you for very, 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 very reasonable. It's very reasonable. My licensing is very, very reasonable. And who's gonna care? It's a small form factor computer case. If you're paying $3 or whatever total on each computer case, you can pass it on to customers. Just saying. Wazup says, can the 8700T be possible in the S4? passively cooled. Yes, it can be passively cooled in the S4 for about 10 minutes. And then it will start underclocking. But the Noctua HL9i, I mean, it can run so quiet as it is, and with the 8700T, you're not going to hear it. Chad, appreciate you, man. You are awesome, awesome, awesome. Chad is a great, great guy. He's been with me since the start. He sends me Facebook messages encouraging me all the time. So I really appreciate you, dude. And thank you for buying, like, I don't know, a dozen minis or whatever you've bought over the years. All right, so I'm going to clip these. This is too much. Technically, I'm supposed to do it like this. With this wire, I might have to, but I just bought this wire, and I don't like throwing wire out, but I really don't like it. The insulation's way too thick. I buy silicone wire now, silicone jacket wire, which is awesome. So it doesn't burn very easily, obviously, and it's ultra flexible. So if you guys are into this and you're buying wire, buy silicone jacket wire. It's so good. Tumor, thank you, man. You started the super chat train. Maybe it will be caboose. Maybe it will be an engine. I think the Lot Ghost is a beautifully designed chassis with great ideas brought together by an incredibly talented team, and I could see myself owning one. I just wish that there was more credit being given to Dan, who pioneered that layout. That's my problem with all of those types of cases on the forum. I want to see people crediting other people's ideas. No one is gonna, you're not gonna take it away. You're only gonna look better if you're like, hey, this idea was somebody's, it's so great, and I add on top of it. You're just gonna look like a cooler guy. That's why I like Bernardo and his Z case. Like, he's totally happy to tell everybody the ideas that he got his computer case from. And then everyone's super happy with him. It's like we just want to say me, 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 me. I don't know. I don't want to say anything I'm going to regret. I ran out of these. And for stuff that's not patented in our community, I think that you can take and you can use it. But again, it's about crediting the shoulders that you stand on. Saying, look, this is what I took from this case. They inspired me. Here's a link to their website. Here's a link to their product. I absolutely love it. But my computer case is going to have these features that doesn't have, that I think that there's a market for. And I think if you're honest and you do stuff like that, people are really going to appreciate it. Because there's tons of stuff that I have come up with for the computer cases I sell, because I only want to sell stuff that's unique. That's not patented, that people can use. It's just if they take it, I think that they should, say where they came up with it from. And also, I think, who cares what I think, right? I'm just talking because it's my opinion. It doesn't have any bearance on what's right or not. But it also feels to me like if you're going to use small form factor forum, which is a community that was built by, certain enthusiasts, certain niche groups, to try to stay and make your own niche in it instead of trying to divide it up. I think there's plenty of new stuff that can be done and plenty of money to be made by everybody that wants to make money off of stuff, but try to be original. Because I've been very vocal before too. Like, I don't even mind if single people go and make my mini. I help students all the time craft their own mini in their school shop or whatever by giving them advice and the CAD and all that. I have the 3D models of all my computer cases. I talk about how it's made. I don't want to like hide on this information. I just think that if you are a company that wants to make money off of my stuff that's patented and you like it, why not license it? And Jim Bond says, this is a key point. He says, over the years, he pinned out several designs like Dan and Locke, not knowing either, but he should have brought to life because he could have been a contender. And I feel the same way, but the difference is Dan spent a lot of money making it happen. A lot of his time, a huge amount of work. I have a motto, and it's this: ideas are worthless. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter what you have in your head. Like, I don't take credit for any of my ideas that I haven't actually brought to production. Not just brought to production, but convince other people about how them being good. An idea is only good once it's a reality and people understand it. That's my opinion on the situation. Not to put you down or anything like that. It's just that's a great point, because I actually had a Dan layout too, and I'm going to be releasing it in 3D on the forum for people to play around with. I'm actually building a system that uses the layout for it, but I just never brought it to life because Dan's was a better concept. He made it happen. Just Chris says, do you think a CNC router table with a cutting area of 61 by 61 is plenty for small mods on PCs? Is good for $800? You have to give me more specs on it. CNCs are not magic. They are a pain in the butt to work and operate. You do need to have a lot of torque on your spindle. You need to have good, solid linear rail bearings, all that kind of jazz. So there's other things that work better, cheaper. Like laser cutters can work better at the cheap end. 3D printers can work better at the cheap end. But a CNC, it really depends. If you're going to be getting something like that, you're only going to be cutting wood and acrylic. I have a really heavy-duty, I have a heavy-duty hobbyist CNC that I've pieced together with a 2400 RPM spindle and nice linear rail systems. And still, even though it's billed at being able to cut aluminum, I wouldn't do that for. There's too much vibration. All right, I've talked a lot, so I'm going to work a lot now. So slow down the questions for a minute. If you super chat, I'll be able to see it a lot easier. Okay. This is the part where I kill myself. There we go. Like 5 volts, that's not right. Okay. I'm going to get some safety heat shrink. Oh man, way too thin. Is there anything worse than ordering the wrong heat shrink? Embellis recommends CNC router parts, and yes, they make awesome stuff. So definitely check out that website. They sell good stuff. If you're gonna spend money on a CNC router, do it right. That's basically what I was trying to say before. Is there a mod on the Mini I'd like to see? That's a good question. It's a good question. I want to see more panel mods done. I want to see people cut the panels and add nice 3D printed trim or CNC routed trim. Have maybe a little bit taller coolers. Not too much taller to ruin the lines. I think that would look cool. I have a lot of ideas in my head, but I really want my customers to try it first. Because whenever I make a mod like that, people are like, you got to make that mod for me. I'm like, I don't want to say no, but it takes a long time to do this stuff. Okay. White. My camera battery is going to die at any moment, so don't panic. I'll just have to plug a new one in. Let's play a game. Take a shot every time Josh drops heat shrink on the floor. Or just something on the floor, but that's like expert level. See you, James. Appreciate it, man. Especially the note about the S4. I really do appreciate that. I really honestly do. Thank you. Garrett says, if I wanted to make an S4 Mini for a school project, what would I have to do? Well, I'm happy to help you, but I'll help you. So you gotta find out kind of what you need to do first. Get a good idea of what you need, and then I can help you with what you need. So to recap, I'm using Molex MiniFit Junior plugs that I have crimped to these wires to temporarily hook up this power supply. Doesn't really matter which side I put it on, but I wanted to see if it had a mark on it. All right, remind me not to touch that once it goes hot. All right. We have a light. I like lights. Voltage plus, voltage minus. 12 volts, 12.07. 12.07. Last one, 12.07. If I flip them around, I want to see a negative to see if I'm doing everything right. Good, 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 good. All right, I really want to grab it and adjust it, but I know that's going to be bad. JP says, touchy. No touchy, touchy. No touchy, touchy. All right, so there's that. I'm going to unplug it. Still don't want to touch it too much. I'm going to plug these guys. I'm lazy, so I don't want to have to heat shrink every single one. But I really should, shouldn't I? Also, I'm running low on heat shrink for this, and I just... All right, I want you guys to be honest. How many of you watching a stream right now just to see if I hurt myself? Be honest. This is for posterity. My wife, cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. And then I assume the rest of you are watching so you can see an RTX 2080 Ti go up with blue smoke. I guess half of you probably could call 911 since you're all customers and have my phone number. Okay. So nobody corrected me when I said that these were the voltage plus wires. Nobody corrected me, so you guys share in some of the blame. This is a nice tight fit though. These mini fit junior connectors, they're not made for these size pin, but it's working pretty good. Okay, one thing I gotta do. Why is that reversed? This is why you double check your work with a multimeter, because I plugged them in backwards on this side. That would have been bad. That would have been very bad. Whew. Thanks, Embellis. I don't think the customer who's getting this card is watching, but I hope that he's not. So many ulcers right now. All right. Okay. Almost touched it. This board sucks. Don't buy this board. All right, you guys ready? It's like a memory error. Oh, it just had to do its little boot cycle. Oh, it posted. It posted. and no melty smells. Oh, and it's booting into Windows. And it's booting into Windows. Oh, I'm happy. Thanks, JP. Celebratory super chat for no magic blue smoke. It's loading the drivers up. Awesome possum. Okay, so what I want to do now, you went a little bit overtime. I want to shut it down. I want to shut it down and do just a rudimentary test with y'all real quick. Oh man, goodness, that was scary. Like when it didn't boot, like the motherboard immediately shut off. All right, so I'm gonna grab my what's up. Isn't it interesting that the system's off, but it's getting power from the Meanwhile, which is not auto shutting off. It's an ASRock board. I would wonder if getting something else would work better. Can you see that? I'll probably need this. I don't want to prop that up. I'm going to clear this off, give me a little bit more room. Keep the multimeter out for reasons. Don't really want to. A little bit better. I'll just keep it here. I'll show you. I'll pick it up. All right, so if I plug in the graphics card first, our power supply is idling at 1.6 watts. Get myself a keyboard, mouse, this is the WhatsUp Pro with USB monitoring. I can actually plug a USB cable. It records the graphs and stuff for me so I can look at it later. It's very handy, but they discontinued it. I'm looking at buying a more professional one still, but I haven't found one that I like yet. So if you have any recommendations. Siegfried asks, doesn't the 28 Ti require more than 200 watts though? Yes, definitely. But I'm wondering if I can get down to 1080 levels, 170-ish watts. If it does, and this works stably, it's proving the concept. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But who knows? We might run Rise of the Tomb Raider here in a minute. See if it works. All right, second time, second go. Kicks in. 46 watts. Booting up. I have a little camera. I think it might be 1080p monitor for a camera. 7 inches. Real tiny, but it actually works. I can't read anything on it, but. Alright, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm gonna actually do Valley first. And Craig didn't bother to install DirectX. I'm just gonna replace my battery now, guys. So, 1 second, you're gonna see black bars. Do not panic. Water all over my workbench. Just what you want with live power supply sitting there on the mat. Dangerously close to my mouse. Should get like a red LED fan or something so I don't. You know what I gotta do? Once we start getting that super chat rolling big time, we gotta get like a monitor or something and put it here. And have a splitter so you guys can see sort of what I'm doing. That would be cool. Right now I am installing the appropriate DirectX so I can run Valley. But my eyesight's not good right now and this is very, very tiny. It's super hot in this room too. It's 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So It's even hotter on this side of the room because that's over on that wall because of the 3D printer. But we do have active cooling going on, so... Alright, I'm fixing to run Valley. Ultra. Anti-aliasing 8x. Resolution. We're going to put it far above system, because system's at 1080. Just see if it oversamples. But if not, we can run... You can't even hear me when I do that, can you? Alright. Let's see if we can get Valley to go through. Jim has reminded me not to touch this power supply that's right next to my hand. The system has not crashed yet, but neither has it loaded the... It's lagging like crazy, though. That is strange. I'm getting 2 frame rates per second. And my watts up meter says that I'm only pulling 48 watts. I did not download the drivers, but I'm assuming that the system could have been smart enough to handle that. I'm getting DirectX errors like crazy. So I don't want to leave you guys hanging before I actually get somewhere. So let's see if I can download the drivers really quickly. How am I going to do this? This will fit. No. I used to have like a box of Wi-Fi sticks. One's not really going to do me any good, but... Gonna be that way. I'm gonna have to use archaic technology, guys. Archaic technology. I have to walk all the way over to my desktop. Golly. Then I'm gonna try to move the monitor over so you can see it. JP, thank you, my friend. The Stream Upgrade Fund is now there's a trust fund for it. Really? Download already. Come on, do it. $520 megabytes? That's a little much. Let's see if I can do something else while I'm waiting. What about superposition? This is, by the way, running on a Ryzen platform. I do not know the CPU. This is my buddy Craig's motherboard. I took out of a Wrangling 2.0. So it's not exactly the most stable test system ever because I don't know what it is. And I haven't verified it working. But I can't seem to get the output to go past 49 watts. So what is with that? I might have to look in the specs later. See what I'm doing wrong. It's running super good. Nice and cool. And Uni Engine is taking like 5,000 years to load. I don't know, it could be just a problem with the computer. Might have to end the stream. It was going to be this much more boring. Looks like the download finished. But we hooked it up appropriately. And we know that it fits in the Mini. These are all very good things. Oh, you're joking. I can't because it's in TFS formatted. So... And this is never going to load. It doesn't recognize the graphics card, or at least the NVIDIA driver, so that's good. It doesn't have a driver for it. But my problem is I don't have a USB stick to move this forward. All right. This side of the room, I don't have a cable that I can plug into it, an Ethernet cable, and the Wi-Fi is not installed, so I'd have to get the drivers for it. And I was hoping this would be like a really quick thing that we could just do real fast, but it never is that easy, of course. Now I'm going to see if I can even open. Man. This is so embarrassing. My other running PC is a Mac. And I can't actually drag over files onto an NTFS stick. I can read from it, but I can't drive it over. So I can't copy it over. And I don't want to delete any of my other files right now, my sticks, to make it exFAT. So, man. Do I have a really long Ethernet cable? Actually, this is kind of long. I lied. It's not lighting up, but... so maybe I didn't lie. Let me go look at the switch. Yeah. All right, the little flashy lights. Yeah. All right, I'm interested to see if we get drivers, if we're going to be able to load more than 50 watts. 50 watts actually seems pretty high for idle, to be honest, anyway, so. I almost touched the capacitor with my pinky twice. That's going to hurt. Creeper says 3D printers are slow. There are various. No! What happened to the stream? We're still streaming, but I don't have any updates. You guys still see me? Okay, well, anyway, let's see if this is installed, and... oh man, it's gonna take forever, guys. Checking compatibility. If the drivers don't install, then I'm just going to chalk it up to this motherboard and Windows not being configured correctly, and we'll call it a night, and we'll reapproach this next time. It says the NVIDIA installer can't continue because it's not compatible with this version of Windows. the 64GB operating system. And it's a 64-bit installer. So I don't know what the problem is. So I don't have a proper test bench set up, but I should have a real computer soon. I will get this working and test it out. But until then, there's only one more thing I can try. Mahadi says, "Hey Josh, I can't find the S4 Mini on my website. How much does the one that you showed earlier cost?" The Mini is on sfflab.com, but you can get a link through my website if you go to the store. And on my website, I sell the S4 Mini Classic. All right, let's try one more thing, guys and gals. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. Vegan Nano. A card so legendary in its power consumption. I smell so bad right now because of how hot it is in this office. It's bad when you can smell yourself. Hey, Cuban. This guy doesn't want to play ball with us. That's got power. This has got power. That's got power. Maybe it is a memory problem. The fans bump, but I don't get anything to turn on. Last try. He's providing power. How about this guy? I think this board is just a little bit messy, but I will have to mess with it later. Thank you guys for staying on this long stream to see if I blew anything up. I think it's interesting. I think that I made progress. I'm gonna play this a little bit more. I'm gonna see if we really did have a driver issue or if there is something wrong with this board. It's outputting the voltage, just not the amps I want right now. And I'll look into it. But either way, appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the super chats today and hanging out with me as I blabbled on endlessly about the Mini. I don't know, any last questions before I sign off? Thanks for waiting and seeing if we actually got anywhere. I don't think it was a total failure. A total failure would have been blowing up a $1,300 graphics card on live YouTube. I'm definitely gonna be buying Dan's Black Ridge CPU cooler when it comes out. Well, I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Thanks for joining the stream, and I will see you next week. Maybe we can get this working.